Have you ever wondered why some people can face life's storms with unshakable calmness, while others feel thrown off course by even the smallest challenges? Why is it that some can maintain a steady mind amidst chaos, while others crumble under pressure? Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you could bring that same calm and strength into every situation, no matter what comes your way. How much more powerful and effective could you be? Picture a world where your mind, calm and focused, becomes your greatest tool rather than your greatest challenge. Let's take a simple example. Think of a lake on a clear day. When the water is still, it reflects everything around it perfectly, like a mirror. But when the wind picks up, when ripples and waves disturb the surface, the reflections become distorted, unclear. Our minds work in a similar way. When calm, our thoughts, decisions, and actions are clear and steady. But when disrupted, even minor issues can feel overwhelming, and our ability to think or act effectively is clouded. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where today, we're diving into how cultivating a calm mind can transform your life in powerful ways. Through wisdom drawn from Buddhism, we'll explore the art of calming the mind, unlocking insights that can help each of us live with more purpose, clarity, and strength. If you've ever felt that inner peace is out of reach, think again. The path to a calm and powerful life might be closer than you think. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% have subscribed. So, if you find value in this journey, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Together, we're building a community centered on growth, wisdom, and the art of living well. As we continue, remember this: a calm mind isn't just a nice to have. It's the foundation for a powerful life. When we understand our thoughts, when we master our inner world, we become stronger, clearer, and better prepared to handle whatever life brings our way. So let's start this journey together, exploring what a calm mind truly means and how it can transform every aspect of our lives. In life, we often find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of thoughts. Our mind constantly races, always thinking about the past or worrying about the future. But what if we could slow down this storm inside our heads and find peace? This is the essence of understanding the nature of the mind. At its core, the mind is like a restless monkey, jumping from one thought to the next, never staying still. One moment, we might be thinking about something that happened years ago. In the next, we're already imagining what will happen tomorrow. This constant movement can be tiring and overwhelming, and it pulls us away from the present moment. The first step to a calm mind is understanding this very nature. The mind, by default, isn't always calm. It's natural for our thoughts to race and for emotions to stir. But once we understand this, we can start to take control. It's like realizing that the weather changes all the time. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's stormy, but we can always find ways to deal with it. The Buddha taught us that the mind is often driven by three main forces: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Attachment is when we hold on to things or people, afraid to let go. We think that by clinging, we will find happiness, but in reality, this attachment only creates suffering. Aversion is the opposite. It's when we try to push away things we don't like or fear. Both attachment and aversion keep the mind disturbed. The third force, ignorance, is not knowing the true nature of things. When we don't see things clearly, we get trapped in misunderstandings and confusion. Together, these three forces create a restless mind, full of fear, desire, and confusion. But here's the good news. When we understand the mind's nature, we can begin to transform it. Buddhism teaches us that by observing our thoughts without judgment, we can start to break free from this cycle of restlessness. We don't need to force the mind to be still. Instead, we simply need to stop reacting to every thought that arises. Think about it this way. If you're standing by a river, the water is always flowing. But if you sit still and watch, you can see the patterns. You don't need to jump into the water or control it. By simply observing it, you start to understand it. The next step in calming the mind is to learn to focus. When the mind is scattered, we often find ourselves overwhelmed by all the things we need to do or all the thoughts we have. But focusing on just one thing at a time can bring immense peace. It's like when you focus on a single flame. Instead of chasing after every thought, you simply direct your attention to the present moment. This is the power of mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting quietly and meditating. It's about bringing awareness into everything you do. Whether you're eating, walking, or talking, mindfulness is about paying attention to what's happening right now. When you're truly present, your mind becomes clear, and the distractions of the world start to fade away. You stop worrying about the past or the future because your full attention is on the present. Now, let's talk about the power of silence. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by noise. Whether it's the buzz of our phones, the chatter of people around us, or the constant stream of information we consume. But in the midst of this noise, silence becomes a powerful tool for calming the mind. When we embrace silence, we create space to listen to ourselves and our thoughts. This is where true clarity arises. In the quiet moments, we connect to a deeper part of ourselves, and we begin to understand our minds more clearly. In Buddhism, silence is not just the absence of noise. It's a space for reflection and insight. It's when we are silent that we can listen to the deeper messages of our hearts. The Buddha often spoke of silence as a way to tune into the true nature of things. It's in silence that we can begin to recognize the patterns of our thoughts and emotions. This is where the real work of transforming the mind happens. But silence doesn't mean shutting ourselves off from the world. It means taking moments of stillness, even in the middle of a busy day. It means giving ourselves permission to rest, to listen, and to be present with whatever is happening inside us. Silence gives the mind a break from constant thinking, and in this space, we can reconnect with the calm that is always available to us, beneath the surface of our thoughts. Another important aspect of understanding the mind is learning to accept what is. In life, we often fight against things we can't control. We resist change, we resist challenges, and we resist discomfort. But this resistance only creates more inner turmoil. Instead of resisting, the practice is to accept things as they are, without judgment. When we learn to accept, we stop fighting with our own experience, and this brings a sense of peace. Acceptance doesn't mean we have to like everything that happens or agree with it. It simply means that we stop resisting what is, and we allow things to unfold naturally. When we accept life as it is, the mind becomes more at ease. We no longer struggle with what we can't change, and we stop letting external events control our inner peace. This acceptance is one of the keys to a calm mind. At this point, you might be wondering how to practice all of this in your daily life. It starts with small steps. Begin by observing your thoughts. Notice when your mind starts to race, and gently bring your attention back to the present moment. Practice mindfulness in simple activities, like eating or walking. Take moments of silence during the day to reconnect with yourself. And remember, when your mind feels restless or disturbed, it's not a sign that you've failed. It's simply an opportunity to practice again. The more you practice, the calmer your mind will become. Understanding the nature of the mind is the first step toward transforming it. When we know how the mind works, how it gets caught in cycles of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, we can begin to break those patterns. With patience and practice, we can quiet the restlessness, cultivate mindfulness, and create a space for true peace to arise. This is how we begin to build a calm mind, and with a calm mind, we can lead a truly powerful life. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, calmness can often feel like a distant dream. We're surrounded by noise, distractions, and constant pressure to do more, be more, and achieve more. But what if I told you that within you lies a powerful tool, one that can help you find peace no matter the chaos outside? This tool is your mind, and through the teachings of Buddhism, you can learn to tame it, calm it, and allow it to bring you true inner strength. Buddhism is all about understanding the mind and its habits. The Buddha himself taught that our suffering often comes from the way we react to the world, the way we let our emotions control us. But there's good news. The Buddha also provided practical methods to help us overcome this. These methods are not just philosophical ideas. They are practical tools that you can use every day to cultivate a calm mind. Let's dive into some of the core practices. One of the first and most powerful practices in Buddhism is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It's easy to get caught up in the past, thinking about what we could have done differently, or the future, worrying about what might happen. But when we practice mindfulness, We let go of these distractions and focus on what's happening right now. In this moment, we are free from worry, free from anxiety. The more we practice mindfulness, the calmer we become. Imagine sitting quietly for a few moments and simply paying attention to your breath. Notice the way the air enters and leaves your body. This simple act of paying attention, of focusing on your breath, can immediately bring you back to the present. It's like pressing a pause button on your busy thoughts, allowing you to reset and find a moment of peace. But mindfulness doesn't stop at just focusing on your breath. It's about bringing that same awareness into everything you do. Whether you're eating, walking, or even washing dishes, you can practice mindfulness. When you do, you'll notice that the more present you are in your actions, the less stressed and anxious you feel. Another practice that helps to calm the mind is meditation. Meditation is a tool that allows you to go deeper into your mind, to observe it without judgment, and to train it to be calm and still. There are many forms of meditation in Buddhism, but they all share the goal of quieting the mind and allowing you to connect with your inner peace. One simple meditation practice is to sit comfortably and focus your attention on a single object, like a candle flame or a sound. When your mind starts to wander, and it will, gently bring your focus back to the object. Over time, this practice trains your mind to let go of distractions, and you'll find that you can maintain a state of calm for longer periods. The more you meditate, the easier it becomes to access that calm, peaceful state. But it's not just about sitting in stillness. Meditation can also be practiced while you're moving through the world. Walking meditation, for example, is a practice where you bring the same mindfulness to your steps. As you walk, you pay attention to each movement, to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. With every step, you become more grounded, more present. It's a simple but powerful way to bring calmness into your day, no matter where you are. In Buddhism, there is also the practice of letting go of attachments, desires, and the need for control. So much of our stress and anxiety come from our attachment to things, to outcomes, to the way we think life should be. We attach ourselves to the idea of success, of happiness, or of being in control. When those things don't go as we expect, we feel frustration, anger, or disappointment. But the Buddha taught that true peace comes when we learn to let go of these attachments. This doesn't mean we stop caring about anything or become passive. It means that we stop holding on so tightly to things that are beyond our control. We stop expecting life to go exactly the way we want it to. Instead, we accept that life is full of changes and uncertainties. When we learn to let go of our attachments, we stop fighting against the flow of life. We allow ourselves to be at peace with what is, rather than stressing over what isn't. Another important practice in Buddhism is compassion. Compassion is the ability to understand and feel for the suffering of others. It's about looking at the world through the eyes of empathy and kindness, rather than judgment or indifference. When we practice compassion, we open our hearts, and this not only brings peace to others, but also to ourselves. When we are kind to others, we feel a sense of connection and peace. We no longer see ourselves as separate from the world. We feel part of the bigger picture. Compassion has a way of calming our minds because it shifts our focus away from our own worries and struggles and helps us see the world from a place of love and understanding. When you show kindness, it creates a ripple effect of calmness that can help soothe your mind and the minds of those around you. Along with compassion, Buddhism teaches the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is another powerful tool to calm the mind. When we take a moment each day to reflect on the things we're grateful for, we shift our focus from what's missing in our lives to what we already have. Gratitude reminds us that there's beauty and goodness in every moment, no matter how small or simple. Whether it's the warmth of the sun on your face, the taste of your favorite food, or the love of family and friends, there's always something to be thankful for. The more we practice gratitude, the more we train our minds to focus on the positive, which naturally leads to a calmer, more peaceful mind. And finally, Buddhism encourages us to practice right speech, right action, and right livelihood, the ethical teachings that help guide us to live a peaceful and harmonious life. By speaking kindly, acting with integrity, and choosing work that aligns with our values, we create a life that is in harmony with the world around us. When our actions are in line with our values, we experience less inner conflict and more peace of mind. These Buddhist practices are not just concepts to think about. They are tools you can use every day to cultivate a calm and peaceful mind. When you begin to incorporate mindfulness, meditation, compassion, letting go, and gratitude into your life, you'll start to notice a shift. Your mind will become clearer, more focused, and more peaceful. You'll be able to handle life's challenges with greater ease and grace. And most importantly, you'll unlock the power that comes from a calm mind. The journey to inner peace is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Every small step you take towards calming your mind brings you closer to living a more powerful, peaceful life. The Buddhist teachings are timeless, and the practices he shared can guide anyone, no matter where they are in their journey. So start small. Take a few deep breaths, be mindful in your actions, and let go of the things you cannot control. Over time, you'll find that your mind becomes a powerful tool for living a life filled with peace, clarity, and strength. In Buddhism, meditation is seen as one of the most powerful tools for cultivating a calm mind. It's not just a practice. It's a way of living, a way of being fully present and connected to the moment. When you take time to meditate, you create a space where you can step away from the noise and distractions of the world. It's in this stillness that true transformation happens. Meditation allows you to quiet the mind, to separate yourself from the endless chatter of thoughts, and to connect with a deeper sense of peace and clarity. But what is meditation really about? It's not just sitting still for a few minutes and hoping for the best. It's about training the mind, much like you would train a muscle. At first, your mind might resist, wander, or get distracted. That's perfectly normal. The key is to gently guide your attention back to your breath, your body, or even a mantra over and over again. This process of returning your focus is what strengthens the mind and brings it into alignment with calmness. One of the most beautiful aspects of Buddhist meditation is that it doesn't require you to escape from the world. In fact, meditation helps you engage more deeply with the world around you. Instead of reacting automatically to stress or challenges, you learn to respond mindfully with awareness. In this way, meditation becomes a practice of living intentionally. It's not just about finding peace when you sit on a cushion. It's about carrying that peace with you throughout the day, in every interaction, every decision, every moment. When you sit in meditation, you're not just sitting with your body. You're also sitting with your thoughts. It's easy to think that meditation means making all your thoughts disappear, but that's not the goal. The goal is to become aware of them without getting caught up in them. Thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They come and go, but the sky itself remains unchanged. Your mind is the sky, and the thoughts are just passing clouds. The more you meditate, the easier it becomes to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, the observer of them. This realization is incredibly powerful. It helps you detach from the constant noise of the mind and find a deeper sense of peace. Meditation also helps you develop a deeper sense of compassion for yourself and others. When you meditate, you become more aware of your own struggles, your own pain, and your own desires. But you also begin to recognize that everyone else experiences these same feelings. This shared human experience fosters a deep sense of empathy. You begin to see others not as separate from you, but as connected. You start to realize that your own peace and happiness are intertwined with the peace and happiness of others. This is one of the core teachings of Buddhism, that we are all interconnected and that our actions, thoughts, and words affect the world around us. One of the first steps in meditation is simply learning how to sit. It might sound simple, but sitting with awareness is a practice in itself. You don't need to sit in a specific way to meditate, but there are some basic guidelines that can help. Find a comfortable position, whether it's on a cushion, a chair, or even lying down. The key is to keep your back straight and your body relaxed. Your posture matters because it influences your energy and focus. When your body is relaxed but upright, it signals to your mind that it's time to be alert and present. Once you've found your position, start by focusing on your breath. Breathe in slowly, filling your lungs completely, and then exhale slowly, releasing all the air. Pay attention to the sensation of the breath as it enters and leaves your body. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the breath. You can also focus on the sensation of your body in contact with the ground or cushion, or you can use a mantra, words or phrases that you repeat to help center your mind. At first, meditation can feel difficult. Your mind may race with thoughts, ideas, and distractions. But that's okay. The process of returning to your breath or your mantra over and over again is what trains your mind to become more focused and calm. Think of it like a muscle. At first, it might be weak, but with practice, it becomes stronger. Over time, you'll find that meditation becomes easier and the benefits will start to show up in your daily life. One of the most profound benefits of meditation is how it helps you manage stress. In the modern world, stress can feel like a constant companion. Work, relationships, responsibilities. There's always something pulling your attention in different directions. Meditation allows you to step back and create space between yourself and the stressors in your life. It helps you respond to challenges with calmness, instead of reacting impulsively. This doesn't mean that problems will disappear, but you'll find that you handle them with more clarity and less emotional turbulence. You begin to see problems as opportunities for growth, rather than threats to your peace. When you meditate, you are training your mind to be more mindful in everyday life. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment, without judgment. It's about experiencing life as it is, without trying to change or control it. You can practice mindfulness while you eat, walk, or even wash the dishes. The key is to focus on the task at hand, fully engaging with the experience, rather than getting lost in thought. Over time, this practice of mindfulness helps you develop a deeper appreciation for the present moment, and it also reduces the stress of constantly thinking about the past or worrying about the future. Meditation also helps to clear mental clutter. The mind has a tendency to collect all sorts of thoughts, memories, and worries, and it can become very noisy. Just like how cleaning your house creates a sense of order, meditation clears the mind and creates space for clarity. As you meditate regularly, you'll notice that your thoughts become less scattered. You begin to think more clearly and make decisions from a place of inner wisdom rather than from a place of confusion or fear. Another important aspect of meditation is the practice of loving kindness. In Buddhism, loving kindness meditation, or metta meditation, is a practice where you send thoughts of love and compassion to yourself and others. You start by focusing on yourself, wishing for your own happiness, peace, and safety. Then, you extend those wishes to others, first to loved ones, then to neutral people, and even to those you may have conflict with. Over time, this practice of sending love and goodwill softens the heart and mind, helping you approach the world with more compassion and less judgment. The more you meditate, the more you begin to notice subtle changes in your life. You start to feel more grounded, more centered, and more in tune with your true self. This deep sense of calm and clarity carries over into every area of your life. You begin to make decisions from a place of wisdom rather than reaction. You start to respond to others with kindness, patience, and understanding. You find that you can face challenges with a steady mind, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you have the inner strength to handle it. Meditation, in essence, is not just about sitting on a cushion. It's about transforming your life, one moment at a time. In our fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. We wake up to an alarm, check our phones, scroll through messages, and already, our minds are cluttered with 1,000 things. The noise of the world, the constant pull of our thoughts, and the demands of life create a whirlwind that keeps us from finding the stillness within. But here's the truth. Distractions are not just external. They begin in the mind. Have you ever noticed how, in the middle of a task, your mind jumps from one thought to another? Maybe you're working, but suddenly you remember something from yesterday, then a worry about the future creeps in. Then, before you know it, you've lost track of what you were doing, and your focus is scattered. These distractions are like waves on a lake. The moment we lose focus, the calmness of the water is disturbed, and everything becomes unclear. This is what happens in the mind when we allow distractions to take control. The first step in overcoming distractions is understanding where they come from. Distractions aren't just the phone or the noise around you. They are often a result of our own desires, fears, and attachments. Our mind jumps from one thought to another because it is chasing something. We want to achieve, we want to control, we want to know what will happen next. These desires cause our mind to scatter, and the more we chase them, the more distracted we become. In Buddhism, there's a concept called dukkha, which means suffering or dissatisfaction. This dissatisfaction arises when we are constantly seeking things outside of ourselves to bring us happiness or peace. The more we search, the more distracted we become. The solution isn't to get rid of the distractions entirely, but to recognize them and return to the present moment. When we focus on what is happening right now, we break the cycle of distractions. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet room, focusing on your breath. At first, it feels easy, the mind is calm, but then thoughts begin to appear. Maybe you start thinking about the tasks you need to do later. These thoughts are like little waves. They may seem small, but if you follow them, they'll grow and pull you away from the present moment. The key is not to get frustrated. Instead, gently guide your attention back to your breath. Each time a thought comes, simply notice it and return to the calmness. With practice, you'll notice that the distractions lose their power over you. One powerful practice in Buddhism to calm the distractions of the mind is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully present in whatever you are doing, without judgment, without distraction. Whether you're washing dishes, walking, or talking to someone, you focus entirely on that moment. You don't let your mind wander to what you'll have for dinner or what happened yesterday. By practicing mindfulness, you train your mind to stay grounded in the present, reducing the power that distractions have over you. To start practicing mindfulness, try this simple exercise. Pick one activity you do every day, like drinking a cup of tea or walking to work. As you do it, pay attention to every detail. Notice the feeling of the cup in your hands, the warmth of the tea, the sound of your footsteps, or the wind on your face. When your mind drifts to something else, gently bring it back to the task at hand. This simple practice will help you strengthen your ability to stay focused and calm throughout the day. Another important aspect of overcoming distractions is simplifying your life. We live in a world where we're constantly being pulled in different directions. There's always something demanding our attention, whether it's work, family, or social media. To find clarity, we need to reduce the noise. This doesn't mean getting rid of everything you enjoy, but it does mean setting boundaries. It means saying no to things that don't serve your peace or your purpose. In Buddhism, we practice simplicity as a way to live more fully. By letting go of unnecessary distractions, whether it's physical clutter or mental clutter, we create space for what truly matters. When we reduce the noise around us, we create a sense of stillness in which clarity can arise. This stillness is the fertile ground for wisdom, creativity, and peace. But it's not always easy to avoid distractions. Life is full of them. So, how do we stay grounded amidst the chaos? One answer is to build small rituals that bring us back to the present moment. It could be lighting a candle in the morning and taking a few deep breaths, or perhaps taking a short walk after lunch. These little rituals act like anchor points throughout your day. They remind you to slow down, to breathe, and to return to a place of stillness. Another key practice is learning to embrace silence. We're often afraid of silence because it forces us to face ourselves. In the silence, we may notice our fears, worries, or insecurities. But silence is not your enemy. It's an opportunity to reconnect with your true self. In silence, the distractions fade, and the noise of the mind becomes quieter. The more comfortable you become with silence, the less you'll be pulled by distractions. You'll begin to hear the voice of clarity, of wisdom, and of peace. Sometimes, distractions come from within. We create mental noise by judging ourselves or worrying about the future. In these moments, remember that the present moment is all we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. What matters is how we respond to the present. If you find yourself overwhelmed by worries or regrets, gently bring your attention back to the here and now. Ask yourself, what can I do right now? What is within my control right now? Focus on what you can do in this moment, and you'll feel a sense of power and clarity. It's also important to recognize that distractions aren't inherently bad. They are simply part of being human. The challenge is not to eliminate them completely, but to learn how to deal with them skillfully. When you feel distracted, don't judge yourself. Don't get frustrated. Instead, treat it as a reminder to come back to the present. With patience and practice, you'll find that distractions no longer pull you away from your center. Instead, you'll learn to navigate through them with ease. The power of a calm mind lies in its ability to stay focused and clear, even in the midst of distractions. When we can maintain our composure and return to the present moment, we unlock a new level of inner strength. This strength isn't about controlling everything around us. It's about mastering our own responses. By cultivating mindfulness, simplicity, and patience, we create a mind that is powerful, steady, and unshaken by the distractions of life. Over time, as you practice these techniques, you'll begin to notice a shift. Your mind will become quieter, and you'll experience a deep sense of clarity. You'll be able to focus on what truly matters, and distractions will no longer pull you off course. Life will become clearer, more purposeful, and more peaceful. The more you train your mind, the more power you will feel. So, the next time you feel distracted, take a moment to pause. Take a deep breath. Let go of the worry, the judgment, the noise. Return to the present. Focus on what's in front of you. And in that moment, you'll find the power of clarity, the strength of a calm mind, and the peace that comes with living fully in the now. Mindfulness and presence in every moment. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to feel like we are always rushing. We rush to work, to finish tasks, to respond to messages, and sometimes we even rush through life itself. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, are you truly present in each moment, or are you just moving from one task to the next, lost in thought and distractions? What would it mean for you to experience life in the here and now without being pulled away by worries about the past or the future? Mindfulness, a core practice in Buddhism, teaches us to be present, to be fully aware of the moment we are in. It's not just about paying attention, but truly immersing ourselves in the experience without judgment or distraction. Mindfulness isn't just for meditation sessions, it's a way of living. When we practice mindfulness, we begin to notice the small things we often overlook. The way the light falls through the window, the sound of birds outside, the sensation of our feet on the ground, or even the rhythm of our own breath. These moments, small as they may seem, are precious, and they are the building blocks of a calm and powerful mind. Think about a time when you were deeply engaged in something, when your mind was completely focused and you felt at peace. Perhaps it was during a quiet walk in nature, or while working on something you truly love. In those moments, you were practicing mindfulness, whether you realized it or not. Your mind wasn't racing through a million thoughts. It was fully immersed in the present, in that one moment. And that's when you experience true calm. That is the power of mindfulness. But how do we bring mindfulness into our daily lives, especially when life seems so busy? The key is to slow down, to deliberately focus on the task at hand, and to fully engage with it. Whether you're eating, working, talking to someone, or simply sitting, try to pay attention to every detail of the experience. Notice the texture of your food, the sound of your conversation, or the movement of your body. When your mind is fully engaged in the present, you will begin to notice that the noise of the world fades away, and your mind becomes clear, calm, and focused. This doesn't mean you have to ignore the future or the past, but it means you should give each moment the attention it deserves. Buddhism teaches us that life is impermanent, that every moment is fleeting. This reminds us not to take anything for granted, to be fully present for each experience because it will soon be gone. When we are mindful, we honor the present moment as a gift, not something to rush through. There is a famous saying in Buddhism, when you walk, just walk. When you eat, just eat. It's simple, but it holds profound wisdom. We often multitask, thinking we can accomplish more by splitting our attention, but this only leads to stress, confusion, and a lack of presence. When we try to do too many things at once, our mind becomes scattered, and we lose the power of being present. By focusing fully on what we are doing, we open ourselves to a deeper experience, a sense of calm and clarity. This doesn't mean that we should ignore our responsibilities or goals. In fact, mindfulness can make us more effective in everything we do. When we are mindful, we can approach each task with clarity, focus, and a sense of purpose. Whether we are working, parenting, or even relaxing, mindfulness helps us to be fully engaged, reducing stress and enhancing our effectiveness. When we take the time to slow down and pay attention, we perform better, feel better, and live better. Mindfulness also helps us to connect more deeply with the people around us. How often do we have conversations where our minds are elsewhere? How often do we half listen, distracted by our phones or our thoughts? When we practice mindfulness in our interactions, we listen more deeply, we respond with more care, and we build stronger, more meaningful relationships. In a world filled with distractions, mindfulness allows us to be fully present with others, making them feel heard and valued. But mindfulness is not only about paying attention, it's about how we pay attention. Buddhism teaches us that we should approach every moment with kindness, curiosity, and without judgment. This means letting go of the urge to evaluate or criticize. When we practice mindfulness, we simply observe what is happening in the present without trying to change it or label it as good or bad. This non-judgmental awareness allows us to accept life as it is, leading to a sense of peace and contentment. In the Buddhist tradition, mindfulness is closely linked with the practice of meditation. Meditation is a tool that helps us cultivate mindfulness, training our minds to focus and be aware in each moment. Through meditation, we can quiet the chatter of the mind, allowing us to experience the present more clearly. But meditation isn't something that only happens in quiet rooms or during specific times. It's a skill we can carry with us into every aspect of our lives. One way to integrate mindfulness into daily life is through mindful breathing. Take a moment right now, wherever you are, to focus on your breath. Notice the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. This simple act of focusing on your breath is a form of mindfulness that you can practice anytime, anywhere. By returning to the breath, you reconnect with the present moment and your mind becomes calm and centered. As we practice mindfulness, we begin to notice how much of our stress and anxiety comes from being caught in thoughts about the past or future. We worry about things that haven't happened yet, or we ruminate on mistakes we've made. But mindfulness allows us to break free from this cycle. When we are fully present, we stop obsessing over what was or what might be. Instead, we focus on what is. And in the present moment, we find peace. Mindfulness also teaches us to be more aware of our emotions. Often, we react to our feelings without thinking, letting them control us. But through mindfulness, we can observe our emotions without being swept away by them. We can recognize when anger, sadness, or frustration arise, and instead of reacting impulsively, we can respond with calm and clarity. By creating space between stimulus and response, mindfulness empowers us to choose how we react, rather than being at the mercy of our emotions. The more we practice mindfulness, the more natural it becomes. We begin to live with greater awareness, noticing the beauty in small things, feeling gratitude for each moment, and experiencing life with more presence. As we cultivate mindfulness, we develop a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us, leading to a more peaceful, powerful life. So, how can you start practicing mindfulness today? Begin by taking small steps. Choose one activity each day to focus on fully. Whether it's drinking a cup of tea, taking a walk, or simply sitting in silence, commit to being fully present. Over time, this practice will become second nature, and you will notice the calmness, clarity, and power that come with living mindfully. In the end, mindfulness isn't just a practice, it's a way of life. It is a journey of bringing more awareness, peace, and presence into every moment, allowing us to live with greater power, purpose, and peace. The calm mind that mindfulness cultivates is the foundation for a life that is not only powerful but also peaceful and fulfilling. And as we bring mindfulness into every corner of our lives, we become more in tune with our true selves, and the world around us becomes clearer, more beautiful, and more meaningful. When we think about relationships, we often focus on the things we can see, the words we speak, the actions we take, the time we spend together. But what if the real key to successful relationships lies not in what we do outwardly, but in the calmness of our minds? How we relate to others starts with how we relate to ourselves. And it's this inner peace that can create stronger, more harmonious connections with the people around us. Imagine a person who is always anxious, stressed, or angry. They may try their best to communicate, but their words come out sharp or defensive. Their actions may feel rushed or impatient. It's not that they don't care, but their inner turmoil clouds their ability to connect. Now, picture someone who has learned to calm their mind. They approach life with patience, compassion, and clarity. When they communicate, their words are thoughtful, measured, and kind. Their actions are deliberate, showing care and respect. They listen fully, not just with their ears, but with their heart. This kind of person creates an environment where others feel safe and understood. Their presence, calm and steady, has the power to transform the relationship. Buddhism teaches us that peace comes from within. It's not something that can be found outside ourselves, but something that must be cultivated and nurtured from deep within our hearts and minds. When we understand the nature of our thoughts, when we learn to let go of our attachments and expectations, we unlock the potential for true peace. This peace radiates out into every relationship we have, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. In Buddhism, one of the core teachings is the importance of mindfulness, being fully present in each moment. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. We notice when we're getting upset, anxious, or irritated, and we have the space to choose how to respond. This awareness helps us pause before reacting, giving us the opportunity to respond with wisdom, rather than from a place of unchecked emotion. When we can stay present and calm, our relationships become more genuine, because we are no longer projecting our inner chaos onto others. Let's think about a common situation, a disagreement with a loved one. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to get caught up in emotions. We might raise our voices, blame the other person, or even shut down completely. But if we've cultivated a calm mind, we're able to approach the disagreement with a sense of calm and compassion. Instead of reacting out of frustration, we can pause and listen. We can ask ourselves, what is this person really trying to express? What is the root of their frustration? And instead of adding fuel to the fire, we offer understanding and patience. This doesn't mean we always agree, but it means we create space for constructive dialogue, and that makes all the difference. In fact, mindfulness can help us avoid misunderstandings altogether. When we are calm, we can better understand the intentions and feelings of the other person. We are able to see past their words and actions, recognizing the deeper needs or emotions that might be driving them. This awareness allows us to respond in a way that shows empathy, rather than reacting defensively. And when we show empathy, it creates a bond of trust and understanding. Our relationships become spaces of mutual respect, rather than conflict. The Buddha also taught about the power of compassion. Compassion is not simply feeling sorry for someone. It is the genuine desire to ease their suffering. When we cultivate compassion, we begin to see the world through the eyes of others. We understand that everyone is struggling in their own way, facing challenges we might not always see. With compassion, we can approach difficult situations with a sense of care and concern, rather than frustration or anger. We learn to offer a listening ear, a kind word, or a helping hand, knowing that by doing so, we help relieve someone else's suffering. This makes our relationships stronger, because they are built on a foundation of kindness, not judgment. In our daily lives, we interact with many people: family, friends, co-workers, even strangers. Each of these interactions is an opportunity to practice mindfulness and compassion. And when we approach these moments with inner peace, we become beacons of calm and understanding. Our presence alone can have a positive impact on those around us. Think about a time when you've been around someone who was calm and centered. How did it make you feel? Likely, their calmness gave you a sense of peace, too. You might have even found yourself mirroring their behavior, responding with a sense of calmness in return. This is the power of inner peace. It's contagious. When we are at peace within ourselves, we create peace in the world around us. Of course, this isn't always easy. We all face challenges that test our patience, our understanding, and our ability to remain calm. But the key is not to be perfect, but to be aware. Each time we find ourselves reacting out of frustration or anger, we have an opportunity to pause, reflect, and choose a different response. It's in these moments that we can grow and strengthen our relationships. And over time, as we continue to practice mindfulness and compassion, we'll find that our relationships naturally become more peaceful and fulfilling. Buddhism teaches that the true nature of our mind is peaceful, like a calm lake. When we allow our minds to settle, free from distractions, we return to this natural state of peace. And when we embrace this inner calm, we find that it flows into our relationships, making them more harmonious, loving, and understanding. The more we practice, the more we cultivate peace not only within ourselves but in the world around us. One important thing to remember is that no relationship is perfect. Every relationship has its ups and downs, its moments of misunderstanding or tension. But when we have inner peace, we can weather these storms with grace. We don't allow conflict to shake us to our core. Instead, we face it with a steady mind and an open heart. And even when challenges arise, we know that they are opportunities for growth, both personally and in our relationships. In conclusion, inner peace is the foundation for all of our relationships. When we cultivate calmness and clarity within, we create stronger, more loving, and more fulfilling connections with those around us. The more we practice mindfulness, compassion, and understanding, the more we build a world where peace and kindness thrive. So, as we continue our journey, remember that the greatest gift we can offer our relationships is not just our time, but our peace of mind. When we are at peace within, we bring peace to others. And that, in turn, creates powerful, lasting relationships that can withstand anything life throws our way. Buddhist insights on handling stress and anxiety. In our modern world, stress and anxiety seem like constant companions. We face pressure from work, family, expectations, and the constant need to keep up with everything around us. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the weight of your thoughts, your responsibilities, or even the noise inside your own mind? These feelings of stress and anxiety can be all-consuming, yet they are not something we must simply endure. Buddhist teachings offer profound wisdom on how to manage these emotions and live with peace, despite the challenges we face. Let's start by understanding the nature of stress and anxiety. These emotions often arise from our attachment to things, whether it's our desire for success, our fear of failure, or our attachment to how we want life to unfold. When things don't go as planned, or when we feel uncertain about the future, our minds can become anxious, restless, and agitated. This is natural. After all, we're human. But it's how we respond to these feelings that can either lead us to peace or further into turmoil. Buddha once said, "We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world." This powerful teaching reminds us that the thoughts we hold, especially the ones that stir anxiety, are not who we are. Our thoughts come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. They are temporary and ever-changing. Just because we experience anxiety doesn't mean we must identify with it. We are not our anxiety. One of the fundamental Buddhist teachings on handling stress is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Rather than reacting impulsively to stress or anxiety, mindfulness encourages us to take a step back and simply notice what is happening in our minds. When we observe our thoughts without judgment, we create space between ourselves and our emotions. This space allows us to respond with clarity, rather than being swept away by the current of stress. In the practice of mindfulness, we also cultivate awareness of the present moment. Anxiety often arises when we are lost in the past or future, worrying about what has happened or what might happen. But the present moment is the only moment we truly have. When we bring our attention to the here and now, whether it's feeling the breath moving in and out, noticing the sensations in our body, or listening to the sounds around us, we anchor ourselves in reality. Anxiety loses its power when we are fully present in the moment. The present moment is always peaceful, and it is in this peace that we can find relief from anxiety. Another important teaching from Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is in a constant state of change. Our thoughts, emotions, and even our circumstances are not permanent. The anxiety we feel today may not be the same tomorrow. By remembering the truth of impermanence, we can begin to detach from our emotions. When we let go of the need to control or resist our feelings, we allow them to pass through us, just as clouds pass across the sky. Stress and anxiety are not permanent states, and when we stop clinging to them, we can experience freedom. In addition to mindfulness and impermanence, Buddhism teaches us the importance of self-compassion in moments of stress. Often, we are our own harshest critics. When we feel stressed or anxious, we might blame ourselves for not being able to handle things better, or for not living up to expectations. But this only adds more weight to our burdens. Instead, Buddhism encourages us to practice loving kindness and compassion toward ourselves. When we face anxiety, we can speak to ourselves with the same kindness we would offer to a friend. It's okay to feel this way, we can say. This moment will pass, and I am doing my best. This simple act of self-compassion can ease the grip of anxiety and help us return to a place of peace. Another technique that can help in managing stress and anxiety is the practice of breathing. Breath is central to many Buddhist practices, and for good reason. Our breath is always with us, and it is deeply connected to our state of mind. When we feel stressed or anxious, our breath often becomes shallow and rapid. By taking deep, slow breaths, we can immediately shift our nervous system into a calmer state. Breathing deeply from the belly, focusing on each inhale and exhale, can help slow down the racing thoughts and bring us back to a place of balance. Buddhism also teaches the importance of letting go of attachment to outcomes. Stress often arises from our desire to control things, to make sure that everything goes according to our plan. But in reality, we cannot control everything. Life is unpredictable, and trying to control every detail only increases our anxiety. When we let go of this attachment to outcomes, we release the pressure we put on ourselves. Instead of striving for perfection or expecting everything to unfold in a certain way, we can embrace life as it comes, knowing that it is enough as it is. One of the most powerful Buddhist practices for relieving stress is the practice of meditation. Meditation helps us to quiet the mind, to create space between our thoughts and our true selves. Through regular meditation, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. We see them for what they are, temporary and passing, rather than allowing them to dictate our reality. Meditation also strengthens our ability to remain calm under pressure. When we meditate, we train our minds to stay steady, even when life becomes turbulent. Over time, this steady mind becomes our natural state, allowing us to handle stress and anxiety with greater ease. Finally, the practice of detachment is another key Buddhist insight for handling stress. Detachment doesn't mean disengaging from life or abandoning responsibilities. Rather, it means letting go of the need to control outcomes or to hold on to things too tightly. When we practice detachment, we allow ourselves to experience life without becoming overly attached to specific outcomes. This reduces stress and frees us from the cycle of worry and fear. Detachment is the art of letting go and trusting in the flow of life. Through these teachings, Buddhism offers a roadmap for dealing with stress and anxiety. By cultivating mindfulness, embracing impermanence, practicing self-compassion, and letting go of attachment, we can transform how we respond to the pressures of life. Rather than being consumed by stress, we can face life with a calm and centered mind. In this way, we not only relieve ourselves of anxiety, but also discover a deeper sense of inner peace and strength. The path to peace is not about eliminating stress from our lives, but about learning to live with it, to breathe through it, and to let it pass without letting it define us. When we apply these teachings, we not only find relief from anxiety, but also unlock a deeper, more powerful way of living, one that is rooted in the peace of the present moment. Conclusion: embracing calmness as a path to power. Imagine standing at the edge of a great river, watching the water flow smoothly and steadily. The river doesn't rush, it doesn't fight, it simply flows. No matter the rocks or the obstacles in its path, it continues forward, finding its way with quiet strength. This is the way of calmness. The river does not need to force its power. Its strength lies in its ability to remain steady, to flow without resistance. And so, too, does your mind. Throughout this journey, we have learned that a calm mind is not a passive mind. It is an active force, a powerful tool that shapes the course of your life. It is like the stillness of the lake, the steady flow of the river, the deep roots of a tree. From this stillness, everything else grows. Your actions, your decisions, your relationships, and even your health are shaped by the calmness you cultivate within. But let us not mistake calmness for weakness. Calmness is not about avoiding problems or hiding from the storms of life. Calmness is the power to face life head-on, to meet each moment with clarity, to make decisions from a place of peace rather than panic. The true power of a calm mind is its ability to guide you through difficulty, to steady you when you feel lost, and to help you remain clear when others are swept away by emotion or fear. In Buddhism, we speak of the middle way, the path between extremes. A calm mind is not about suppressing feelings or becoming indifferent to the world around us. It is not about retreating into isolation or avoiding conflict. A calm mind is the ability to experience life fully, to be aware of your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. It is the ability to be present in each moment, no matter what that moment brings. Think about how often we are swept away by our thoughts. One moment, we are planning for the future. The next, we are worried about the past. Our minds jump from one thought to the next, often without any control. A calm mind, however, is aware of these thoughts but does not become entangled in them. It observes and it lets go. This is the essence of mindfulness, the practice of being present with yourself in each moment without judgment. To cultivate this kind of calm, we must begin by slowing down. Life today moves fast, filled with distractions and noise. The more we rush, the more we lose our connection with our true selves. But when we slow down, when we breathe, we return to the present moment. And in that moment, we reconnect with the calm that already exists inside us. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating a calm mind. But meditation is not about emptying the mind or becoming a blank slate. It is about observing your thoughts, accepting them, and then letting them pass. It is like watching clouds in the sky. They come, they go, and you do not try to hold on to them. You let them pass without attachment. This practice of non-attachment is one of the key principles in Buddhism. By letting go of our attachment to thoughts, emotions, and outcomes, we free ourselves from the turbulence that clouds our minds. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness also plays a central role. Mindfulness means being fully present, aware of everything around you and within you, without judgment. It is the simple act of paying attention. When you are mindful, you are no longer distracted by past regrets or future anxieties. You are here, in this moment, with a clear mind and an open heart. This mindfulness can be applied to every aspect of your life. Whether you are eating, walking, talking, or even doing your work, you can bring mindfulness to it. This is where true power lies, not in the grand gestures or achievements, but in the simple act of living fully in each moment. Imagine if every action you took, every word you spoke, was done with full awareness, without rushing, without distraction. That is the power of a calm mind. The calm mind does not react impulsively. It does not lash out in anger or anxiety. It listens, reflects, and responds with wisdom. The calm mind is like a clear mirror. It does not distort the world with its biases or judgments. It reflects things as they are. And when we can see the world as it truly is, we can make decisions that are wise and compassionate, rather than reactive and driven by fear or desire. But let us remember, calmness is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice, a lifelong journey. It requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. Some days will be easier than others. Some days, the mind will be more turbulent, and the world around you may feel overwhelming. On those days, it is important to remember that it is okay to not always feel calm. It is okay to have moments of struggle. The practice is not about being perfect. It is about returning to the present moment again and again, with kindness towards yourself. As you continue to cultivate calmness, you will notice that your life begins to shift. You will find yourself responding to challenges with more ease, more clarity, and more grace. You will make decisions with a sense of purpose, rather than being driven by fear or confusion. Your relationships will become deeper because a calm mind listens without judgment, speaks without anger, and loves without attachment. And most importantly, you will find a deep sense of peace within yourself, a peace that cannot be disturbed by the external world. This is the power of a calm mind. It is the power to live fully, to be present, to make wise choices, and to navigate life's challenges with strength and clarity. And as you continue on your journey, remember this simple truth. The more calm you cultivate, the more powerful your life will become. The river of your life will flow steadily, and you will become the master of your own mind. So, as we come to the end of this journey, remember, a calm mind is not a distant dream. It is not an impossible goal. It is within your reach. It is waiting for you, right here, in the present moment. All you need to do is cultivate it, nurture it, and embrace it. When you do, you will discover that the path to power, peace, and purpose has always been within you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May you walk the path of calmness with strength, grace, and wisdom, and may your life be filled with peace and power.